Hey cats, what's happening? Today I'm going to attempt to clean my chimney. The first thing I gotta do is get the fire out of here, which I thought would burn out today. But there's still coals in there, so I'm gonna have to get the bucket. Let's see if I can shovel those coals and get them outside and get to where I can get in there and work, because I'm gonna go in from the bottom and see if I can go up. That's going to be my attempt anyway. So I've got a new tool here, which I'll show you in a little bit. Yeah, it comes with these rods that attach together. And the head is kind of like a weed eater thing, so it'll spin around, put it in the drill. I've got my cordless drill there, but I'm not sure it's going to be powerful enough to turn it, so I also got my larger half-inch drill. The only thing with the half-inch drill, I think it only has one speed, and I'm not sure that it'll turn fast enough. But we'll see. I mean, it's all I can do. It's all I got. So I'm going to get started on that anyway. Let's take a look in here for a minute. If we come in and look up here at the flue, I should be able to go right up in there with this brush, if it'll fit, and clean the chimney. These are flexible rods that I have, and you'll see the diagram there. It shows the drill, and it shows that the rod flexes and goes right up the chimney. So if all works to plan, I should be able to do it. So you can see these, some flex to them, but I'm not sure how it'll turn with the drill when it's flexed like that. I guess we'll have to find out, won't we? I think the first thing is I'm going to have to try to put a couple of these sections together. They have the little button thing that fits into the hole on this one. So I'm going to need to assemble some of it, maybe not all the sections, at least, you know, where I can get started and get it to feed up through the chimney here, and we'll see what happens. Well, I haven't even put the drill on it yet, but in running this thing up here, just adding sections to it, I mean, I got plenty of creosote coming down through there right now. Each time I run it up and down, I get more falling. There is a pretty good pile of creosote in there. I mean, it's pretty thick, and it's kind of tarry too, so I got a lot out of there. Now, whether it got the cap up on the roof or not, I don't know. I reached it all the way up. I put all these rods together. All those rods together, 24 feet. When I add it all up. So from here on up 24 feet, I'm sure should have taken me all the way up to the cap. All I can do now is light a fire in there and see if it drafts, but wow, that's a lot of creosote I got out of there, and I got a mess to clean up here too. I got creosote clear out there. I'm gonna have to get the vacuum out. All right, look at this, cats. Almost way more than half, probably 2/3 a bucket full of creosote. There's still some in there, but I got most of it shoveled out of there. So I'm gonna guess that had to make a difference. I mean, a whole bucket of creosote in that pipe all the way up there. That was probably what was causing the blockage. So, like I said, all we can do now is start a fire in there and hope that it drafts well. Well, my little cordless drill worked perfectly with the thing. I didn't have any trouble at all. I just had to swap out the battery one time, and was able to go the whole length way up the chimney. And as you saw, I got almost a whole bucket of creosote out of there. Started a fire in here, and as soon as I opened the doors, the house is full of smoke again. So obviously the problem is up there at the chimney cap. What I'm going to do, my son said he would help me. I'm going to put the gorilla ladder up to get up on the porch roof. There's no snow up there, so you're not going to slip and slide. And then I've got the old wooden ladder that, you know, we can put an attachment on there, a little hook over the peak, and that'll run up there next to the skylight. Where he can get up on this porch roof and then walk up that ladder and take that cap off of the chimney and get it cleaned out. I ran that thing all the way up and I was banging it up against the top of that, thinking I could knock it loose, but apparently not. And the stuff that came out of there, some of it was like sticky tar almost. So almost like hot asphalt, you know. When it cools, it gets real hard, but when it's hot, it's kind of in like a half melted stage. So that's what I pulled out of there. So who knows what's up there in the top. But I won't be able to do it today. It's getting late already, and my son, he won't be on this late notice. Tomorrow I've got to help my brothers move all of Mom's stuff out of the assisted living in Monroe Falls. So I got an hour drive to get there and help them package, load up everything. I'm going to take all the clothes and all that kind of stuff. What needs to be thrown away will be tossed, and what's salvageable I can donate to the hospice store. So I think my brother's going to take the bigger furniture over to his shop for now, and then we'll decide where it's going to go and what we're going to do with it. Somebody might want it, I'm sure. We'll find out. So that's my dilemma. The chimney brush worked great. I don't know why the chimney sweep said he couldn't do anything from the stove, because I went right up through the stove without any problem, and I'm not a chimney sweep. And that thing spun around and it went all the way up to the top and back down, and the stuff was just falling out of there. So it's going to be interesting to see what it's like up there on the cap. I'm sure that's got to be caked up pretty tight where the brush just wouldn't knock it loose. Well, as you can see, the weather's kind of mild today. There's no snow in the forecast. I think the temperatures are going to stay in between 30 and 40 degrees right in that area, so it's kind of moderate. We're just going into February though, so we still got the chance of getting hammered with snow again. Well, I have bumped up the brand new furnace. And when that furnace runs, it kind of recycles the air in here, and it'll get most of the smoke out of here from when I was playing around over there. Once I get a fire going and I set the draft, it won't smoke. But if I open these doors for any reason, I mean, the smoke is just going to come billowing out of there. We don't want that. Well, my mom's funeral is past. Everything is going to be back to normal here pretty soon. So that's a good thing. The funeral service was incredible. Just incredible. I know some of you may have watched the live stream of it from her obituary page on the funeral website. For those of you who may still be interested in watching the video, if you go to the website, Janice B. Avery, and you scroll down just past their picture here, there's two tabs. One is a slideshow, and one is the actual live stream, so you can actually watch the funeral service if you'd like. And there's a guest book there. You can leave your condolences on there. Pretty neat. The modern funeral home websites are really nice, really nice. I was really happy with this. This funeral home was out in the middle of nowhere, out in rural Ohio. You had the directions how to get there, and you're driving and you're just going further and further out into the country, and you're scratching your head going, am I on the right road? Because I'm going out into farm country. And all of a sudden, boom, there's this nice funeral home with this great big huge cemetery, and it's very, very pleasant. So we had the service. The service was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. It was a long service, but it was phenomenal. From all of the personal eulogy testimonies to my nephew giving the main message there, was just so beautiful, so perfect. The stories and the whole story behind her life, just an incredible story. And I would encourage you to watch it if you have the time. But what a wonderful day it was. So, shared with family, friends, relatives came from all over, and it was really a good time. After the service, they didn't have a graveside service. The pallbearers carried the casket out and put it in the hearse. And I didn't even realize how quick it was, but as soon as they got the casket in the hearse drove down, unloaded her, put her on the trolley thing, and whoop, lowered her right down into the grave. The other interesting thing is that they buried her in the same grave that my dad's in. So my dad was probably, 10 feet down, and he's in a concrete vault, and they set another vault on top of that, and they lowered my mom right down into that, so they're stacked up on top of each other. And they said, well, that's the way we do it nowadays because it saves space. We stack them, which I didn't know. That's news to me. I always thought, you got buried in a separate place, right, side by side, but they said the property's too valuable to do that, and they get more and more people that pass away every year, and they just lack of space, so they stack them. So they'll stack family members together. Found that interesting. So anyway, all of that is past us now, and we get ourselves back on track again and move on into a new era without my mom or my dad or my wife. So that, as far as our family goes, that makes me the eldest right now. I still have 4 brothers underneath me that we're all still very healthy and living well. Well, I appreciate all your condolences. I just hundreds of them I've gone through on my last video, and I appreciate all of them. I mean, I've just spent like hours up here in my free time just scrolling and reading every single one of them, and I would like to respond and write something to all of you, but I'd be up here all day, and unfortunately I just don't have that kind of time. But I do really appreciate your comments. I love reading them. Thank you so much for the condolences for the loss of my mom. Really appreciate. I'm still praying for all you guys, keeping you guys in my prayers too. Uh, and I truly mean that. I know I'm not the only one that goes through these kind of life situations, traumatic times in our lives, whether it be the loss of a loved one or a divorce or cancer or whatever we go through. You know, we all, like I say, we all have our cross to bear, and we all need prayers, don't we? Even those of you that don't want me to pray for you, I'm still praying for you, man. Yeah, you can count on that because you're probably the one that needs it the most. God is good, and God really exposed Himself to us through this whole journey. If you haven't watched the service, let me give you a little clip here. My brother, one of my younger brothers, has been the sole caretaker for Mom, and he's taking care of all the finances, the arrangements through the nursing home, the nursing staff, the medication she's on. He's done everything, and I commend him on that. He's done just a wonderful job of and very detailed. He's a very detailed person, and he did the job very well. Well, him and I were going to visit Mom through the week. In fact, two of my other brothers were going to visit her. The other ones lived too far away, but those of us who lived close, the three of us would take turns visiting Mom, and sometimes we would visit Mom together. Especially towards the last month or so, because my mom wasn't really talking that much, and when she did talk, it was very difficult to carry on a conversation with. So I would tend to go with my brother. Well, we were coming on random days, and my mom asked my brother, she said, "Can't you please make it so that you come on Tuesday, and I can always count on you coming on Tuesday, because when I don't know what day you're going to be here, I'm always wondering, are they going to come today? Are they going to come tomorrow? When are they coming? Are they not coming at all?" So my brother decided to start making it Tuesday, and I would go on Tuesday too, because that was one of my free days. And so my brother and I would visit and talk there, and my mom would say, "Oh, just you guys go ahead and talk between the two of you. I'm just listening and enjoying every bit of it." And we would just chit chat back and forth about all kinds of things, you know. But anyway, the interesting thing was, on the Tuesday that she passed away, that was the only day the furnace guys could schedule to come out and put my new furnace in. So I called my brother and I said, "I'm not going to be there today. If I am, it's going to be later in the afternoon." And he said, "That's all right." And I said, "I'll give you a call as soon as these furnace guys are done here." Well, as it turned out, my mom passed away about 12:15, around just a little bit after the noon hour. And my brother that had been taking care of her, he was the only one there. So he was able to sit right next to her bed. He was able to hold her hand. He was able to pray for her. She loved the song, "When We All Get to Heaven, What a Day of Rejoicing It Will Be." And she wanted that sung at her funeral. Well, my brother had his cell phone there, and he had been playing some hymns in the background while he was sitting there. Now, my mom couldn't talk or anything. She was just laying there, you know, with her eyes barely open. And my brother was sitting there holding her hand, and he was playing this playlist of songs. Well, wouldn't you know, that song came on, "When We All Get to Heaven." And so my brother started singing along with it. And as he's singing, he looks out the window, and right there next to the window on this limb, these two birds came down and landed. And they were just sitting there right by the window. And my brother's singing along that song, you know. And he's looking and he's thinking, boy, that's weird that those two birds are sitting there. And he's holding my mom's hand. And before the song's even over, my mom takes a big sigh and takes her very last breath. and dies right at that moment, 12:15. My brother looks and he checks, makes sure she's passed on, she's gone. And he looks back and the birds are gone. It was almost like those two birds were the angels that came down, were waiting for her, and they took her soul up and carried her off to heaven. The amazing thing was that if I had been there, my brother and I would have been chit-chatting back and forth and not paying any attention to my mom, and she may have passed on and we may have not even realized it at the time. But the unique thing was that I couldn't go that day. My brother was able to go by himself. He was able to hold my mom's hand, pray with her, sing to her in her very last moments. That was very personal. And of all the people to be there with her, the one that took care of her the most. Just amazing how God orchestrates things. And it's the little things that we don't always see, that we don't always pay attention to. But when you look back in retrospect about how everything fell together, and it couldn't have come together any more perfectly. Even the playlist that he had playing off of YouTube played that song at the exact time of her death. Is just uncanny. You know, even God can manipulate YouTube. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, I just wanted to share that part of the story, and that's all part of the service that's on the obituary page. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for all your love and prayers. I appreciate it. Till next time, cats, I'll catch you all later. When we all see Jesus, we'll sing and shout the victory.